Winners never quit, quitters never win. Hello everyone, myself Mrs. Mahak Gulati. I'm the soft skill trainer with IIMT Group of Management, here to deliver a lecture on importance of communication, which is an evergreen topic. What is communication? Communication is a medium of interaction with one another. When we talk about communication, it clearly means how confidently, how precisely, how smartly we are able to use the right words at the right time in the right way. Moving on to the next, that is effective communication. Effective communication is always a two-way process, more of sending the message to the right end. When the message is sent from one person to the other person and at the right time in the right manner, this clearly proves how effective the communication is. Next important thing to keep in mind is what skills do we need to understand the effective communication. Number one, writing, presenting, negotiating, public speaking, and pitching. When we talk about these words, it means how impactful each and every stage is when we deliver effective communication. Effective communication also helps us to understand the person as well as the situation. When we talk about the person and the situation, it clearly means that if the words are mistaken, if the words are used in the wrong manner, it might create misunderstanding and differences. When we talk about misunderstanding and differences, it all happens because we are not using the right words. Maybe the message that we are trying to deliver, or maybe the sentences that we are using are absolutely not so correct. We need to make sure that whatever we wish to deliver is never misunderstood by some or the other person. Moving to the next and the most important topic once again, that is how we can have 7 C's of communication in our day-to-day life. When we talk about 7 C's, it clearly means that there are few words which have to be used properly, appropriately. 7 C's of communication: completeness, conciseness, how you can be more confident, consideration, clarity, and concreteness, along with courtesy. Explaining you the first and the most important, that is consideration. When we talk about consideration, it is all about how much you are considerate to each other, how you are using the right words which are never mistaken or misunderstood by the other person. That means you have to be considerate when you talk about each and every word to another person. Clarity. Clarity is how clearly your message is being delivered from one end to the other person. It can be also determined by your voice, your tone, your content. It has to be short and precise. Moving to the next heading, that is conciseness. Conciseness means it's not necessary to deliver your content always in length. We can shorten it up, we can have the content less, and we can also try to complete our sentences maintaining the conciseness. Next is concrete. Your message should be concrete. It should have a weightage of words, it should have meaning, and it should be very interesting for the next person to understand and also listen. Courtesy. When I talk about courtesy, it clearly means being polite, humble, soft, and kind. These are the words I I think I should say these are the magic words. They create magic when you speak and share your ideas with. Whatever you speak, whomsoever you speak, irrespective of status, age, anything, make sure you deliver your content in the most courteous behavior. Moving to the next topic, that is, what mistakes do we do when we deliver the content? While I talk about communication, the basic mistake that we do is we assume. Stop assuming. Focus on the person, focus on the situation, and please make sure you ask. The more you ask, the better the outcome will be. It is very important in communication to communicate, to use the words, to interact. Because if, for example, in a situation, there are people who have doubts, you just leave it on them. You don't clear, you don't clarify. Then the chances of misunderstanding increases. When I talk about communication, people only assume that communication is all about what you talk and what you speak. As per the data, only 7% of communication is dependent upon what we speak. When it is only 7%, then what is 93%? Rest 93% is dependent upon your listening ability, your interpretation skills, your body language, and your non-verbal communication. When I talk about listening skills is an ability of understanding how a person can be patient to listen. It's not always that you keep your points ahead and you just keep on talking to people, just give your ideas. More important while communicating is to listen to the other person also. Listening is an art which each and every person has to master in communication. Next, if I talk about is non-verbal communication, which involves your gestures, your body language. Gestures is all about your facial expressions. You smile, you frown, whatever you show it on your face. It clearly proves and brings forward the most important, that is non-verbal communication. It also matters a lot how you stand, how you sit, because half of the time your words do not match your body language. Your body language has something else to talk, something else to say, which is totally opposite to what your words are. Your words have to be in sync with your body language. That is why we say communication is not just verbal. Non-verbal communication is much more important. Moving to the next and another important segments when we talk about communication, when we talk about the voice and the tone, it also makes a big difference. There are people around, there are situations around, and there are feelings which we have within us. Sometimes we take the situation to a very sarcastic tone. We sometimes make fun of each other. Maybe at times we shout, we howl, and sometimes we plead. Every single word and every single tone has a lot to say. If you are happy, you should look like happy. If you are shouting, first of all, it's not advisable. Let's have a normal pace of conversation that can be maintained in the most balanced possible way. Your volume, your pitch, when to be high, when to be low, also plays a major role in communication. I think voice and the tone is the biggest reason of creating misunderstandings between each other. Moving on to the next and the last important topic is, when you speak, you should be comfortable in your mind as well as you should be relaxed in your body posture. When I talk about being relaxed and being comfortable, which clearly means that you should have a clarity of thoughts, it's really important to know what you are talking. Whatever you talk, it's not necessary to be in length, but it should be in sense. So dear friends, make sure when you talk something relevant. With this, I would like to end up the lecture with just one saying. We spend our lives to understand what to say, what to talk. But we learn the moment we are born, in couple of days, we learn how to talk. Think about it, how to talk, what to talk, when to talk, and where to talk. Thank you, everyone.